What's up guys, BltzZ here today bringing you another video, and today we got some amazing news from the PlayStation 5 news conference. The very first game that they actually showed off and started it all off with a bang was none other than Final Fantasy XVI. I'm kidding, 16, Final Fantasy 16. If you watch this live with me, then you know just how hyped we were on the live stream, and if you have not yet, please do yourself a favor and go ahead and check that out, because there are timestamps as well. I want to talk about some things we could take away from this trailer and maybe start speculating on aspects of the game. Now, this is all speculation based on the information we are shown in the trailer. I could be wrong, I could be right, but hey, one thing's for certain, and that's that only 22% of you guys are subscribed to the channel right now. Hit that subscribe button, you guys got nothing to lose if you love the content. It's totally free and helps support the channel a ton. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on any upcoming news coverage for all things next gen starting now, especially Final Fantasy 16. Right off the bat, one of the first things that I take away from looking at this game is that it's taking the old school Final Fantasy approach. It seems like the medieval or Game of Thrones sort of environment. To me, I straight away saw a lot of similarities with Final Fantasy 14, the MMO, and 15 as well. The main protagonist, whose name is not mentioned in this trailer, resembles the default hero protagonist in Final Fantasy 14. As usual, there is a conflict of some sorts between two factions or kingdoms. We see right here in the very beginning of the trailer that one of the NPC guards mentions the name Shiva, which I caught during the live stream and sort of got me kind of spooked. But it wasn't until we saw them charging into battle on none other than chocobos, that's when I then realized, holy shit, this is actually Final Fantasy 16 and this is real. Then we got some cool action shots of Shiva taking on Titan. Some dialogue also mentions that they refer to the summons in this universe as icons, as one of the guards mentions that the enemy faction has summoned their icon, which is Titan, and looks like a goddamn mountain. Yeah, that's no joke about that. It also seems that summons will be a much larger focus on the story for this game, and they just might entirely change up how summons work for this Final Fantasy. The hero mentions at one point he is here to protect the kid, which is the Archduke's son, and his name is Joshua. Joshua seems to have some sort of healing powers as he heals an injury on the hero's hand in a quick scene, before being told that they need to leave to meet his father. The combat for this game looks to be more action orientated and super badass. Yoshi P, who is the director for Final Fantasy 14, is producing Final Fantasy 16, and recently hired Ryoto Suzuki is the battle director for Final Fantasy 16. This is awesome news because Suzuki was a designer on the Devil May Cry development team, which explains why this combat looks freaking insane. They are definitely blending the strong points of Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake while splashing in some Devil May Cry aerial combat and style to it. Like seriously, this dude just backdashed and he had a shadow clone to take the hit, then he launches forward and starts juggling the enemy non-stop. Executions or ground takedowns seem to be a thing in this game, and there is surprisingly blood in this game. This game just looks overall darker, and it's going to be taking a much more mature approach to things for Final Fantasy. Against the Marlboro, I lost my shit when I saw you could teleport into the air and in front of the enemy. Then you can either hit them for air combos or air dodge to the left, which is something that is totally missing from Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Then when you think it couldn't get any better, we come across a Dragoon enemy, which is my favorite job or class in Final Fantasy as a whole. Shoutouts to the YOLO jumps and backflips off of platforms in the middle of raids for Final Fantasy 14. Dragoon Gang. During this combat segment, it looks as if the hero can manifest a Phoenix Wing and then combos it with another Shadow Clone backdash attack to make the enemy's attack whiff. Then we get another mythical enemy from the Final Fantasy series to appear, such as the Coral. And a lot of people were disappointed that Final Fantasy 7 Remake didn't have any blood, but I mean, look again right here. We got massive blood and it's spraying onto the face of the child character Joshua. Jesus Christ, he's traumatized, look at him. The hero also seems to be able to manipulate his fists and astral project demon fists, and then his combat changes to that style of a monk job class. I'm just saying, if we can have multiple jobs or weapon proficiencies in this game, I am absolutely sold. I would love that. There is one thing that kind of confuses me is when Joshua is screaming, there is an NPC that has a little bit of dialogue and he says that the Archduke's son is the Phoenix. We then see Phoenix swoop from the sky in a badass fashion, and then the very next scene shows a taller male character transforming into none other than the summon we all know and love, Ifrit. I mean, you can't have Shiva appear in a Final Fantasy game and not expect Ifrit to follow suit. I mean, come on. Upon watching the trailer the first time, I honestly thought Joshua turned into Ifrit right there, but then again, that doesn't make sense because he does heal the hero's hand earlier in the trailer with the Phoenix looking effect to it. And then when Ifrit is fully shown, the camera zooms out and we see Phoenix facing off against Ifrit. This could be that Joshua has transformed into Phoenix, and the hero we play as may transform into Ifrit. Ifrit's hands look like those of the astral projections when the hero was using the monk-style weapons to attack as well. That's one thing I took note of upon watching the trailer a second time and slowly analyzing things a little bit more. Ifrit is also shown mauling an enemy as they scream for help and blood just starts shooting out everywhere. Oh my god. Is this Final Fantasy? This is Final Fantasy, guys. And then to end the trailer, the main hero is shown as a teenager, and then it transitions to him being much older after saying, "I'll kill you if it's the last thing I do." With the limited information and cutscenes that we've been provided out of order and out of context, you can't really pinpoint who this comment is directed to. It could just be a random battle statement or a cutscene dialogue of an NPC character. Then finally, the main title is shown, confirming that this is indeed Final Fantasy 16. And the two summons, Phoenix and Ifrit, are about to take off in battle, with Ifrit representing the Chaos side of Final Fantasy, while Phoenix is representing the Warriors of Light side of Final Fantasy. Very interesting stuff we're being shown here early on. One major thing to take away from this trailer is that we've only been shown the combat from one character's perspective. It really wouldn't be Final Fantasy if there were no other party members to take control of or to help you out in battle like in Final Fantasy 15. It could be that other characters may not be finished yet for combat and that they really want to limit the amount of combat that we witness very early on. However, it would be very bold of them to make a fully action adventure game focusing solely on one character in Final Fantasy of all games. Sound off in the comments below, how would you guys feel about this? Personally, for me, I wouldn't really like that, even if we did have variety of switching between all job classes for one character. I like how characters have banter and dialogue with each other in Final Fantasy games. Plus, the child Joshua could have some amazing combat as well as a summoner. There's still so much left to uncover for this game, so hopefully over the next few weeks we get a little bit more information on that subject. But do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any upcoming interviews or news relating to Final Fantasy 16. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. Final Fantasy 16 has officially been revealed, and I want to know, what are you guys' thoughts on the game? Do you like what you're seeing, or are you worried about the future? I'm doing my best to subvert my expectations because the last good original non-remake Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 14. And technically even Final Fantasy 14 was a remake once it got overhauled and redubbed A Realm Reborn, if you think about it. The story itself for this game looks pretty interesting to see what they're setting up and how summons are going to be used, so I definitely think that's going to be very promising. And of course, the combat looks like something we are going to have a ton of fun breaking down further on this channel. Shoutouts to the members on the channel holding it down and subscribing to your tiers. If you guys have not yet, join today and become a member. We are 10 members away from reaching a total of 100 members, and once we reach that goal, our giveaway will start. We're going to be giving away one free game of your choice as long as it's a standard edition on any console or PC. And also, you'll get the very first merch for this channel, and that is a t-shirt. I will be DMing you for more information on your size, so join and become a member today because you will also get 2 entries into the giveaway to maximize your chances for winning. You also get access to our channel exclusive emojis and video shoutouts that you do not want to keep missing out on. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy 16 video, news coverage, and details are going to be coming your way. You won't want to miss out on that. My name is Blitz, and thanks for watching.